Hello, today we want to talk to you, or give you a bit of a reminder, I suppose, of the Patriot kits we do. There's been a bit of an update, hasn't there, really, over the last year, where we don't do the 2.4 one on its own anymore, and a bit of a change around in the kits. So we thought we'd just give you a bit of an overview about the kits as we head into the season. We're just at the beginning of March. It will be the time people are thinking about the Wi-Fi to go on their motorhomes and caravans and so on. Yeah. And it's that time of year where we start getting the calls. So just a reminder, we do two kits. We do the one that has just a 2.4 gig Patriot in, and then we do one that's got the dual band Patriot. So that's this one, that's the dual band one, isn't it?
I believe on the website the 2.4 gig only one we call something like the Patriot AF kit.
That's right, yeah.
And then the dual band one is something along the lines of the 3000 AC kit.
Yeah.
So that's how you can differentiate them, other than obviously reading the specs and seeing.
But they both come with the Patriot, which is a USB device, and they come with the USB router.
Yeah, the 3000.
Which is just 2.4 gig, isn't it? So even with the dual band Patriot, it's still a 2.4 gig router. So how does that work then? You could connect to a 5 gig network using the Patriot and then distribute it inside your motorhome over 2.4.
The router itself isn't technically having anything to do with whatever Wi-Fi signal it's trying to pick up.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter that it can only broadcast 2.4 because it can still receive the 5 gig signal via the USB Patriot.
Yeah.
And obviously the main use of these kits, or the main use that we tend to see customers using, is they have them in their camper vans and caravans and that kind of thing while they're on campsites and just public sites which have a publicly available Wi-Fi signal that isn't always the strongest. And also obviously if you're in something like a camper van or caravan, which is a metal exterior acting as like a Faraday cage to block out wireless signals, basically, it can be difficult to get a good and reliable Wi-Fi signal to all your devices, and that's why people tend to go for this kit, one of these two kits, because what it allows you to do is you've got your Patriot USB device on the outside, which is picking up the Wi-Fi signal directly from the air that it's surrounding, and that brings it in on a USB cable right into the little router, which can then broadcast it as Wi-Fi that all your devices can pick up on. And because it's inside with them, it's a much stronger signal for them.
And you don't just have to use it in motorhomes and caravans. There's boats you could use it in. You could even use it in your at home, I suppose. There's certain, if you've got a garden shed or something, one of these garden bars that people we're seeing more and more.
Yeah, it's quite versatile because there's not really much to it. It's two bits of kit. Yeah. One of which is very easy to mount outside anywhere, comes with its own mounting bracket.
That's it, I was just going to say about the bracket. We designed the bracket ourselves, so it's an exclusive Solwise design. It actually does say Solwise on the back, made in the UK as well, so the rest of it might all have links to China, but this is made in the UK, in Hull no less, or Hessel I think it's made actually, isn't it? And then it can be mounted with suction cups, or there is a U-bolt,
Jubilee clips
and so on. Yeah, so you can mount it wherever it needs to be. Probably quite handy actually if you've got one of these motorhomes that's got a ladder on the back. I think they're always quite good for mounting this sort of thing. But it's not a permanent mount, this.
No,
you take this down whilst you're travelling.
Yeah, if you're actually travelling with whatever you've got it on, you obviously take it down. Yeah. So it doesn't get knocked off.
The other thing to note as well is the Patriot, we sell it on its own. So if you didn't want, I suppose if you were on your own, that might be all right, mightn't it? If you didn't want to share it with anything else.
If you only had one device that needs it, and if that device has a USB port, so if you've got a laptop or computer, you can connect the Patriot directly into it, and use it as basically a Wi-Fi adapter to pick up Wi-Fi from outside and bring it straight into your computer. So you wouldn't be rebroadcasting the Wi-Fi inside, but you would be bringing the connection inside directly into your device.
And I don't think so many people use it like that though, do they?
No, just because most people have at least two devices, and usually they want it on a tablet or phone, which doesn't have the right kind of USB
Indeed, yeah.
port on it. But we do sometimes have that pop up with people that are using laptops. So it's if you do have that kind of scenario, then you save a bit of cost on that just buying the antenna.
Well, that's it. It's an option, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
the thing. And we do the single unit as an Ethernet version as well, not USB. So why would somebody want an Ethernet one as opposed to a USB one?
Yeah.
Can you explain that to us?
Ethernet one is technically a different type of device, but it heavily resembles it, and it can be used in the same way if configured to do so. It's quite versatile. But yeah, the Ethernet one we do, the Patriot DB, is as it comes, it's a Wi-Fi access point, which means you would plug it into your network and it would broadcast Wi-Fi out, say, to the surrounding area. If you put it
So
on your...
that's real useful. So like, for instance, I've got one of those on the back of my house, and what that does is it then distributes the Wi-Fi across the garden. We've got like a patio area and a deck and a summer housey thing. So that just distributes it out there, and anyone who visits can hop on the Wi-Fi of that one. We've got that separate from our home network from inside. So it's quite handy for that sort of thing. The guests in the summer, when we're enjoying the British summer.
For a week, yeah.
Yeah.
The week in the summer where it can be enjoyed.
That's it, July the 10th.
Yeah. And as I said, obviously it's quite versatile, so although it can be used for that, and that's probably its main use, it's just equally as possible to use it for the opposite function. So you'd have it on the outside of wherever, your house, your camper van, but instead of being used to broadcast Wi-Fi out, it can also be configured to pick up an external Wi-Fi and bring it in down on its Ethernet cable into your network router, your computer directly, or into this repeater, and use it in the same way like that.
So essentially then, the Patriot DB does a send and receive, or can be used to send and receive, whereas the USB one is essentially a receiver.
Yeah.
If you think about it in simple terms for my simple brain, that seems to be the easiest way to understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should also point out that the standalone Patriot USB that we do on the website, the Patriot USB A, obviously that's a dual band version.
Yeah.
It won't work with any of the older RPT 3000 router models,
Right.
from about, say, I've sort of lost track of the years because of COVID and stuff, but about two years ago, if your router's older than about 2 years, or basically if it's on the firmware version v1.2 or earlier, it won't work
Right.
with this dual band one. It has to be a 2.4 gigahertz version, which we no longer have in stock.
All right. So you'd essentially have to buy a new kit then.
Yeah, if you needed to.
Yeah.
But if your version is on version 1.3 or above, then it will be compatible with the new one, so you'd have to worry.
So if you had the 2.4 gig only one and you wanted to put a dual band one on something just a bit newer, and that should be fine then. You'd only need to then buy the Patriot, wouldn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much, Daniel.
You're welcome.
Thank you.